Hello folks, good evening. You may have noticed we've moved quite far away from the atmospheric, dark, gloomy, creepy views and sounds of XCOM and are now going to give Transport Tycoon a go. This is another game from 1994. I'm just going to go in here and change to dollars and kilometers so things make sense to me. Although I'm playing the Transport Tycoon Deluxe version, which came out in 1995. It's just got some bug fixes and some added features. I only playing this version because I couldn't get the original 1994 version to work through DOSBox. In any case, you'll see it's made by Chris Sawyer, published by Micropose, so without further ado, let's get into it. Random new game. So, let's pause here. The name of this game, Transport Tycoon, tells us that what we're going to be doing is running a transport company. This is the name of our company, which we don't have just yet, but let's call ourselves Jackson and hit OK, and we'll be called Jackson Transport. Go to our face, and you can choose from a wide variety of incredibly ugly 90s caricatures. I don't know how caricature they are. Maybe this is what rich business people look like, but here are the faces we can choose between. Let's go for one that looks cool. That guy's a little bit too creepy. Jesus Christ. Look at these guys. That's going to be me. And then we'll do OK. Choose a nice colour. Let's go with blue. And the manager name. We did that. That's just about it. So we say OK. So here's a game map. Let's bring up the this button up here. We got pause, options, save, blah, blah, blah. Here's our map. Let's open up that. Move around the world. This is our world that we're going to be playing, and you'll notice there are these boxes which are different industries. There are these different cities around the world, and we've got some different map views. This is vehicles. There are none yet, but we'll see them soon. This one here are different industries, and they need to they relate to each other in different ways, which I'll get to in a moment. Here's city names, transportation networks, trees, and finally different companies and where we built. I'll show you all this in a moment. I wonder where the best place to start with this game is. It's one that I played a lot when I was young, so I feel very comfortable just mucking around with it, and it is a game which is still fun to play today, and I hope that you'll agree with me when I show you around it. Anywho, the rest of these menus up here is just a list of the towns in the world with their different populations. This menu here has got a bunch of subsidies, which I'll talk about when one pops up. Here are different companies, that's me. Here's our finances. We start off with quite a big debt, but you know, that's the way it is. That's how you start your transport company in the year 1950. We've got loads of graphs and stuff. We've got a company league table, blah, blah, blah. This is a list of our trains, our cars, our ships, and our planes. These are the different things we're going to be building throughout this game. Then you can build railways, roads, waterways, airways, and trees. And then this is where you can pick the excellent music. And basically every song in this game is a banger. So we're going to have a good fun playing this. So when you start a game with Transport Tycoon, what you got to do is check out the industries on the map. And you'll see at the bottom left here, they are all coded differently. They're all color coded differently. We've got coal mines, power stations, forest sawmills, oil refineries, wells, and so on and so forth. And they each make something or need something moved to them so that they can make something else. And while you're looking at this, you might be interested in looking at cargo payment rates. Here are what passengers pay to be shifted around. 10 units of whatever cargo, passengers being one of them, moving them a distance of 20 squares, and depending on how long you take, they pay a different amount. So this is how many passengers, this is what passengers would pay to be moved around the map. Something like iron ore pays a bit more, and stuff like coal, and not oil, stuff like coal and wood, if I remember correctly. Not wood, well, coal at least, is a pretty well-paying thing. You see, I haven't played this game for a long, long time. I started it up now just to make sure it works, but otherwise I haven't played it really. And it's still somewhere, a lot in my memory, it's coming out, that's great. Anywho, coal is a high-paying good. Let's just toggle all of these so you can see. Oh my lord, valuables. Well, they don't exist on the map when you start. Jesus, it's surprising how much you remember, eh? Anywho, let's get to it. Goods are generated by different industries. So you first need to feed them so they start generating them, and then you move them into towns. But to begin with, to show you how the game works, let's have a look at getting some coal and steel. They're the things that pay a lot. So as you look across the map, you'll see that black blobs are coal power plants. For example, this one here. This is Benburn Coal Mine. And last month they produced 120 tons of coal. And you'll see only a few tiles away, in fact absurdly close for this game, is Benburn Power Station, and they require coal. So we set up some sort of transport line to shift coal from our coal mine to our power station. And across the map you can look to see that those combinations of black and red, which are coal mines, which are suitably located to shift things to their neighbours. There's an interesting place to start actually. Let's just have a quick scan around the map, shall we? You see here, they're so close, you could probably move it by truck. So let's, over here, set up a truck network running that. There are some bugs with trucks which plagued this game forever basically, but we'll cross those bridges when we get to it. But to begin with, just to make things a little bit more interesting, let's start over in Trendwood. Because here there's a coal power plant. Now the coal power plant needs to take coal, also making 120 tons, to the coal plant. Down here we have an iron ore mine which makes iron ore. Now iron ore needs to be shifted to steel mills which take the iron ore and turn it into steel, and steel will need to be shifted to this factory here, which takes livestock, grain and steel and turns them into goods. Goods can be sold at cities with a lot of skyscrapers, and there's not really one nearby, but we could try and make Trendwood grow into a slightly larger establishment, or a larger city, because that would mean that they can start receiving the goods that hopefully we'll be making in this factory. So it looks like Trendwood is going to be where we start off our business enterprise. Unless we can find something even better. Here we have some farms that also need to... You see, they also need livestock and grain, so we could consider setting up over here, where we have this farm that's making grain and livestock, which needs to be shifted to this factory, and this one as well, which needs to go to that factory, and this place will then make goods, which we could sell here, because this place has already got skyscrapers. So that's another great place to start. There's also this oil well out here. This here, the Newwood oil wells, which we can take the oil from and deliver to the Landfield oil refinery. So this area out here is also a great place to start. But you know what? Let's start with good old Trendwood, just because that's where we saw first on the map and it looks pretty neat. Trendwood's a bit of a boring name, so let's rename this. Oop, you can't do anything until you've unpaused, so let's not call this. Let's call this place Jamestown, because that's brought us good luck so far. Right, what should we start off with? Let's get a railway up and running that's going to take coal down to this power plant. So, when you build a railway station, I'll just pause again, you can choose how many tracks it has and how large the platform is. And you'll see that this catchment area is highlighted, and this shows you the area from which the station will pull goods, such as in Jamestown, passengers and mail, and what things it will accept, which is also based on what's around it. So here they would accept passengers and mail and fill it up with passengers and mail. Down by the power plant they won't accept anything, but they'll fill the station up with coal, which we then need to shift down to this power plant down here. All this is coming back to me, it's crazy. This is like nostalgia central. I'm going to make a platform that's about 3 long, because we don't need a huge train to go between these two spots. We'll make it 2 tracks, because we can always have a second train running if it turns out that this place starts spewing out coal like there's no tomorrow. And we'll just set the track over here. It's close enough to be covered by the catchment grid, and it's relatively straightforward to build a train track down to that power plant. So let's unpause and build that station. This is automatically called at Jamestown Lakeside, which sounds like a quite nice place. We then click on tracks. These are our differently shaped tracks we can build on the map. Sometimes you run into a place here where we'd have to curve around it, but turning the train loses some of its speed, so instead I'm going to raise this terrain here, which, ooh, that cost a lot, but that's because we're building through someone's field. And we'll pull the track down like this. We'll flatten this fellow's field, keep the track all the way down, and on this end we might as well make a big omni station with 4 tracks, because this station may well become very busy in the future. Because we're going to be taking iron ore out of it as well. So let's whack, let's see, they're going to be receiving coal and they're going to be taking out iron ore. So let's make 3 tracks like this. And let's put it down somewhere like there. So here comes the train out from Jamestown mines. And now, once you've got the track connected, these 2 stations, we need a train. So we'll click on a train depot, attach it to our track, and maybe add, we only need 1 on this little line. Click on the train depot. So train depots are where your trains are built and where they're repaired and where they have their service. And I'll show you about that now. When we open up new vehicles, the year is 1950, so we're still on steam trains, but you'll see here all these different sort of trucks that we can build, and they can all carry different goods. So clearly what we need to set up here is some sort of a coal truck carrying train, and there are 3 locomotives available to us at the moment: the Kirby Paul tank, the Cheney Jubilee steam, and the Ginzu A4. You'll see that they increase in cost and they have varying stats. Ginzu is a pretty fast train compared to the other 2, but it's also got a large amount of power. Now the horsepowers are going to determine how much they can pull, and if you have a very heavy train, you'll need a very powerful locomotive, but if the train's not too heavy, you can get away with a slightly weaker thing. So a good middle of the ground train is this Cheney Jubilee to begin with. So let's pick up 1 of those and attach to it 5 coal carriages. We'll give it orders to go to Jamestown, Lakeside. Have to unpause it. When you get there, load up the train and then go to Jamestown Mines and then say go. Now you can close these and off this train goes. Isn't this a gorgeous looking game? It really has aged quite well considering it came out in 1994, well 95 this version. But you'll see he's pulled into Lakeside. There was already a whole load of coal waiting there because that station's been built and the coal has been piling up while we've been building the track. And now he's going to take this coal down to Jamestown Mines. So that's all well and good, and when he does that you'll see we'll get the reward for having shifted the coal to the station that requires it. Here it comes. Ka-ching! 4.5 grand. That's going to be a nice little earner. Meanwhile, Jamestown Iron Ore Mine has been pumping out iron ore and there's a large stack of it piling up here. Now you'll notice when we click on a station we can rename them and we can click their location, but we can also look at ratings. This is how we're rated for transporting things. It's going to decrease with time because we're not doing anything with this iron ore. Meanwhile, Laketown considers us quite good with coal and that's going to increase. Now 2 things have happened which I want to show you. First of all, this new transport company's just launched. Little Prindingville Transport. So we can go to their HQ. So that's in Little Prindingville, and that's quite a big city. And if you bring up the map, you can paint the map now. You see they're green. So that's the AI, and they've started a company over here, and we'll see what they're going to do. We can put our little HQ in Jamestown, which is going to be our own little project to grow this little town. Where is our HQ? Here we are. Let's build our HQ on the outskirts of town, and hopefully we can encourage Jamestown to grow out towards it. The next thing we should do, that was it, is do something with all this iron ore because it's all piling up here and nothing's being done with it. So let's make a track that runs up to this steel mill, and up here we'll make another 3-track jobby. There we go. And we'll bring the track down here. Now how can we get there in a smooth sort of a way? Let's see, we'll bring out this like this, here we go. You see now, when we have this hill, we can either go over it, which will slow the train down going up, or we can build a tunnel, maybe shift click, you see how much they cost. And they're quite expensive, but it's quite fun to build tunnels, so let's build one. There we go. And then we'll build a track here. Let's try and go underneath this town. We don't want to disrupt them, because if we sort of build too much around Jamestown, they'll have no room to grow. So let's send this guy up and around. And we want to go and join up with that track over there. So we'll just do like this. We'll make some nice track going here. Yeah, anyone who played with little model train tracks when they were a kid will enjoy this kind of a game. It is very rewarding to make these nice little tracks and like fill up the map with your little trains and so on. It's a very meditative game. Anywho, let's plonk down a train depot. Let's get another one of those Cheney Jubilee steams. This time round we're going to buy iron ore hoppers. Give it orders. Or I should probably explain that menu a little bit better. I'll do that just shortly. Let's just tell him to go to Jamestown, wait until he's fully loaded, and then go to Jamestown Woods. So off that train goes now. So you'll see there's already a whole lot of ore that was piling up. He's picked it all up, and now he's going to start heading up towards Jamestown Woods. Meanwhile, over here in Jamestown Lakeside, this train is sitting here waiting to load up. If you don't tell them to wait for a full load, they just pick up what's there and go off. But it's generally quite good to tell them to pick up a full load, because for every month or day that passes where there's nothing waiting, your rating for shifting that particular good increases. So if you just come and go every now and then, your rating decreases, and then less of the coal ends up at your station. It's only our station there at the moment, but in principle someone else could come and start competing with us and build their own station over there, in which case the coal would be distributed depending on how they rank us. You know, you have a high ranking in your station, you'd get more of the good than the other one. Anywho, this train's dropped off the iron here, and now that we've dropped off iron, it started producing steel. This station also accepts passengers, incidentally. But let's have a think about our steel situation. I can see already now we've got a bit of an issue. Let's just see, how can we do this? What is going on here with the track? I can't see for all the trees. Here we go. Oh, I made a bit of I've bungled this a little bit. I'll talk about why I'm mucking around here in a short while. So, what was I saying? Oh yeah, they're making steel. Now the steel needs to get down to this factory here. So we could share this one track and have it be borrowed by the iron train, or we could build a fresh track. I think that might be a better way of doing it. So let's make a fresh track that comes down here. That's why I had to move this track, you see, because there's just not enough room otherwise. And let's make a separate track for the steel one to run along. I'll show you about sharing tracks in a while, but for now, let's just go with this. So he can go there. And so when there's lots of tracks on one place, you can either do delete, which destroys everything, or you can click this button here, which removes just that particular kind of track from that square. So that's pretty handy. Anyway, there we go. So now let's fix that train track going there. There's this one here, which runs down like that. And we want to get it down to this factory, which means we'll also need a new station down here. I reckon another 3 platform stations good. Jamestown Valley. So we need to get this track down there. So let's go down there, build a tunnel. Come out the other end, get the track running down here. This looks all jolly good. And we need to actually head south a little bit, so we'll come down here. So I'm just setting up this first little chain of production that we're running, and then I'll go see what our competitor's up to. Here we go, down to Jamestown Valley. So let's go back up here. Let's give this guy a depot. Where can I put the depot? Here's a nice little place for it to be. Well, we might need that place later. Let's put a depot down. Why have I left a little gap there? I guess I could take passengers up there. Well, for the time being, let's pop down a depot just here. We can always move it later. And we'll pick up another one of those trains, but you'll see it says, we've got no money, which means we need to borrow more. That's what you got to do at the beginning of this game, is borrow lots of money. No big deal, we'll make money, pay it back. You've got to speculate to accumulate. So we send this train to the steel mill, fill up on steel, and then head down there to the to this factory, because as I mentioned, this factory down here needs us to take to it some steel, and then it's going to start making goods, which we need to drop off in town. So it would be good to have some kind of a station in town where we could drop it off. Actually, let me just, in the meanwhile, I'll show you this. You see, Jamestown sort of wants to grow. Let me show you this. Let's make in Jamestown a bus stop, which we'll whack down over here. Oh, they're grumpy with us because I did all that terraforming and I've been knocking down lots of trees. Shit, that's the thing you need to think about. If you want to build close to their city, you can't be fucking around with trees, because they'll say, I'm sorry, the Jamestown local authority doesn't like you enough to let you build here. And if you click on Jamestown, you can see why that is. You can go into local authority and see that their opinion of us is very poor. Fortunately, we can make them like us more by building some nice trees for them. Let's plant some trees around their city. Nothing they like more than some trees. That'll cheer them up. Now let's have a look if they still think. Now they only think we're poor. So the reason I wanted to muck around in Jamestown is to put down a bus stop on this side of town, and put down a bus stop on this side of town by the football pitch, because everyone's going to want to be going to the the football pitch. And let's put down a depot. Where should we put that? Maybe next to this one on the outskirts. The depot is like the train depot, except this one's for road vehicles. So let's pick up a couple of buses. And we'll tell them similarly, go to Jamestown and then go to the other side of town. And we'll tell this one to go to the other side of town and then go to Jamestown. And then we'll tell them to go. And now those buses are going off. You see Jamestown, there's a few passengers filling up here. Just got to pick them up. And this guy's heading over to Jamestown Central, where there are some more leaving the football pitch, no doubt. And they're going to be going backwards and forwards. And if we click on this question mark and then click on the football pitch, it'll tell you, for example, that this thing accepts 4 out of 8 passengers, and this 3 out of 8 passengers, and this 3 out of 8 passengers. And what that means is, in order to, well, so if you place a catchment zone, you need to have at least 8 out of 8 passengers in order for any to appear. And then after that, any more 8 out of 8s, cumulatively, mean that more passengers will appear. Oh, the other thing I was going to show you was when you click on these vehicles, it's the same for trains as it is for buses. You can click on the side here. So this is just to snap to it. This is to tell it to go to depot to repair. This is to turn around to face a different way. This is to change its orders. But these bottom ones give you information. It tells you the age of the vehicle, the running cost per year, the maximum speed, how much money it's been making. You'll see we're in January, so far our train hasn't made much money. Last year it made 23 grand, so once it's full up, it's just waiting at the moment to fill up, it'll go and continue making us more money. You'll also see that its reliability is quite low. And at the beginning, a lot of these steam trains have quite low reliability, which means they break down a lot and they need to be serviced fairly frequently. We can also look at information about the things, how much they're worth and their capacities. Anywho, that's all going. Now, what was the other thing we were going to do? Ah, yes. Let me just pause it for a second and bring up the map. So you'll see in our little corner of the world, we're blue. We've got our, I'll make this map a little bit smaller. We've got our steel run going along this track here, which also incidentally, well, iron ore goes this way up there, then steel comes from the woods down here. We've got coal running between these two, and that's a nice, neat little business. You'll also see that we've got these two pink things here, which are farms, and they make grain and livestock, which this also needs. So that'll be really great, because once we start filling up Jamestown Valley with livestock and grain, as well as the steel, they'll start making lots of goods. Now you'll recall, goods ship for quite a lot of cash. We bring up the goods. They pay quite a lot. But it's difficult to find somewhere that will accept them. In fact, there's probably a huge stockpile of goods here which we're doing nothing with, so we're going to be scoring quite low for goods. If we go to Jamestown and imagine we were to make a train station, it does not accept goods. You see, it says only accepts here. It says only accepts passengers and mail. If we go to a larger city, where might there be a larger city to have a look at? Oh wow, here. Little Priddigville. If we build it close enough to these skyscrapers, it will accept goods. So we want to reach a point where either we pull out a track to a larger city to sell our goods from this factory, or else we just wait until Jamestown has grown a bit. The other thing I wanted to show you is the AI has probably been up to something. Huh. Not yet by the looks of it. I wonder what they're doing. There's lots of terraforming going on here. Look, they've been flattening a lot of ground, so I wonder what they're doing. Anyhow, the other thing is this menu here, subsidies. So subsidies pay you a large, they pay you more money per good that you shift, and it depends on the difficulty setting how much more than they usually pay. But you need to shift goods before this date expires, so it's a little bit late to start with some of them. But you can see that, for example, let's make this map big. One of them was to take wood from Chendington Forest, which is here, to Truffingburg Sawmill. Or we can take livestock from Landfield Farm to Confingford Factory. So where's that farm? Well, that's there. And that goes to that factory here. So that line. Similarly, grain from Fenningbury Farm to Confield Factory. So this is that place that I actually flagged in the beginning, and that might be 2 good runs to do actually, because if we can get grain and livestock from this farm to this factory, and similarly grain and livestock from that farm to that factory, we could actually set up a nice little station in here which will accept goods. Now that's excellent news. Of course, the issue is building close to cities is notoriously difficult, because you don't want to be demolishing all of their houses to fit it. And also, if you do spend too much time terraforming, the local council tends to get pissed off. But we need to make sure that when we make our station now, we're quite close to all these skyscrapers. So let's see if they'll let us build a station there. There we go, there's Landfield Station. So that's all well and good, and the reason I built that now, it's a shame because passengers and mail are going to start piling up and we're going to get a bad rating on account of it, but we have to make sure we build that now, because otherwise if we build it too late, oh dear, look, someone's competing with us on this grain run. It's an AI building a track. Those fuckers. Well, they'll do that one, and I'll teach you a little anti-AI trick that I'm sure you'll enjoy. But first of all, let's beat them to, let me just show you again, these subsidies, and it looks like they're doing this one to take livestock from this factory, sorry, from that farm to this factory, and they've elected to do so by a truck. So what they've built is not a bus stop, which looks like, well, you remember what bus stops look like this. Instead they've built a truck stop or a lorry station, and they've purchased these vehicles, which are livestock vans. I'm not sure why they're insisting on doing it by truck, because that's quite a long drive, and it's a bit of a circuitous route that they've chosen. Anywho, we're going to do this one, and we're going to do it properly. Where's the other one? Here's the farm, and that's quite close, but we're going to do it by fucking train, because that's going to make us some sweet cash. So let's get a station here, and we know that this station is going to be extremely busy, because we're looking to receive grain and livestock from here, grain and livestock from here, and we're also looking to get goods into Landfield. So let's set up a station with 4 tracks, and 3 in length is probably good enough. Let's whack that there. Oops, we have to unpause to build. In fact, let's just clear this hill a bit and build back here. And you'll see along the bottom we've got this like ticker, these news. The first lorry arrives in Landfield Valley. And people are celebrating. Well, we certainly aren't celebrating because they're going to be competing with us. But it's a good enough opportunity for me to show you how this works. And now, also what I'll show you is how to... Because here we're going to need 2 trains. One running grain and one running livestock. You can do one big train with both. But I'll just set up here to show you how it works when you have just the one. Ooh, someone's making a bus line. You see, they're now Green is building a bus line from Fenningbury. Where are they going? Up to Little Prindingville. That's where their HQ is on that hill. Anywho, let's not worry about that for now. Let's make our track here. Here we go. And then we'll say that goes like this. And then we'll connect it like that. So we're going to have 2 trains sharing this track. It's really a little bit too short to do it that way around, but you know, why not? Let's just play around with this for now. I'm going to make a little thing here as well to show you something cool. Now we need these signals. So the way these signals work is when you put them down, a train will not pass them if there is a train behind this signal but ahead of the next signal along the track. So here we'd have one signal here and here, telling the train that it can go here or there, and then, oh my lord, look at these guys. Oh shit, they're trying to beat us to it. There's no time to explain. We gotta hurry. Oh shit, they're gonna beat us to it. I'm gonna have to show you this dirty trick now. I feel very dirty for showing you this. Should I show it to you? Yes. This is how you screw with the AI. You buy a cheap little Kirby steam train on a little track that crosses their road. And you send it out. Suckers. Those grain trucks can't go anywhere. They're not going to steal our income. Now, I feel pretty bad for that, but what can you do? Anywho, let's get a train going here. And I've got no money because I bought that stupid train. But, you know, we'll borrow more money. Why not? Let's see. What's the speed difference on these? 64 and 112. Seems quite expensive to have such a heavy train here. Oh shit! They're building a new path because they've realised I blocked them. Oh crap, let's hurry up with this guy. Let's get this guy. Come on, come on. 1, 2, 3, and the grain. Oh, livestock. Go, go. Where is he? Here we are. I can't believe they're trying to beat us to it. Go, go, go. So that guy's going now, and he's got our livestock. We need a second one to have our grain run. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do this. Oh, it's a race. Whoever delivers this first is going to be rewarded with a subsidy. So you'll see now the train is waiting at those lights until he's safely in the station, and now he can go up along here. And this thing that I built here was just a crossing so that they can, one can wait here while the other one goes. And now he's going to deliver the grain, beating Green to it. And it says here, oops, that's the offer of subsidy expired. Well, there should have been a little news ticker, but I think we might have missed it. Grain from... here we are. Our subsidy has been awarded. Grain from Fenningbury West to Coningford South will pay double rates for the next year. So that's excellent. But of course, now that we don't need to stress anymore, we can tell them to get a full load at that stop and then go to Coningford South. I don't know what he's doing now. Did I forget to put down... Oh no, I can't build the fucking... Oh. Something's gone wrong with those lights. Get a full load of livestock before you go. So the reason we need to get a full load is that these places now here and Fenningbury West, they're all competing for livestock and grain. So we need to make sure that we have the highest rating, and we'd get that by sitting on the stock and waiting for them to come. And the other thing we can do with this train is just tell him to go and just fucking take them out. Yeah, it's a dog-eat-dog world out there. This is one of the things you can do to fuck with your competitors. Anyway, we've been fucking around here for too long. Oh yes, so this place is making goods now. Of course they're piling up here as well. So what do we need? Well, we need that train to get into the landfill. Jesus, look at all these passengers waiting for a train. We've got to do something about that as well. But let's start with the goods. Jesus, how much money can we even borrow? Here we go. Let's get a track from Landfield to Conlingford South. How can we do this? Well, let's see if we can be clever about this. We could maybe go under Conlingford Valley here. It's quite a big tunnel, but there we go. It's nice to build tunnels. Okay, here we go. And then we make a road, tracking up that way. We get a thing on here. We make a new one. We get a Cheney Jubilee. And we look for a goods van. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go to the station, fill up on goods, and then go and drop them off in Landfield, which, as you'll see, accepts passengers, mail, and goods. But of course the rating is pretty bad here. So the city council must be pretty pissed off with us. So we should think about what to do with these passengers. And one answer might be to take them to another city. So let's bring up the map. And see what kind of cities we have around. Well, there's Confingford, which looks like a cute little place. So let's make a little train stop near Confingford. They don't even accept mail yet because they're so small. But if we put down a little station and help them grow, they might start accepting mail as well, which would be good for us. So I'm just going to do a little bit there and then put it down nice and central in their city, Confingford. Now, how to get there? Well, let's clear this hill. The track goes down there. Oops. Where did I build that track? Don't want that one there. Here we go. We'll make it like this. We'll come down here. Here we go. And then we'll get them going up there. And we'll attach a little train depot. And you'll see here now the map starts filling up quite quickly, doesn't it? Competing fuckers. Oh fuck, we can't buy any more. We can't get any more loans. So we have what we have for now, and we can't build that passenger train just yet. Jesus, we must be... Come on, our goods rating must be going up while theirs is going down, because I don't think they're actually shifting goods. Here comes this guy with his grain. And you see he's waiting here. But now he's past that, he knows that he can come along here. Oh, he's just going in to repair. And now this train's coming out. He's going back in there. He'll stop at those red lights, hopefully, because of course if you don't put down signals, you can have these horrible collisions. Why didn't he drop off his grain? Oh, he just wanted to go to that. That's why he went around that big circuitous route. He just wanted to go to the depot. But now he's going to go and drop that off. Right. Oh, the Confingford passenger train. I'm a bit disappointed we can't make that just yet. And I'm also a bit disappointed we ran out of cash, so we can't start a trains coming from this one and outcompete these fuckers. But we'll get there ultimately. Landfield think we're okay at least, even though there's a lot of very angry people who think the service is appalling, and I don't blame them because there's not a single train going between Landfield and Confingford just yet. But down here we have quite a busy road network. We've got their grain trucks, and I feel a little bit bad for doing this, but you know, what can you do? Let's try and get them. Fuck, they got away that time. It just blocks them, you know, so they can't compete with you. Anywho, you just park your ass there. Right. If we had any money, we could buy another train to just cock block them on this road as well, but we don't. So that's all going well and good. Now, what was I going to go to next? Well, let's go to and see how things are going back over by Jamestown. Jesus, look, this green guy's been busy. He's got a people picking up wood here and going to this sawmill there. Here he's got those truck fuckers, these truck fuckers, and these truck fuckers. He's got truckers everywhere, and that's pretty much it. Meanwhile, down in Jamestown, things are looking up. It's going quite nicely. We've got this guy filling up with coal. I think I just saw the iron ore train head off. That's excellent news. And our little buses are shifting people from one side of Jamestown to the other. And as you see, because we're shifting things, I think that stimulates growth. Can we borrow more money? No. It stimulates... This is, by the way, our end-of-year finance report that pops up. So we're paying quite a lot of loan interest, but we need the money to expand. And as you see, things break down quite a lot. This road vehicle has got 2 breakdowns since its last service. But one thing we might want to look at is how much money they're actually making us. So that's not an enormous amount. 420, 340. Let's compare that with our trains. Now you see our trains, they're the money makers here. Except this one, of course, which I do feel a little bit bad about, but there you go. Look, what we can do over here. Let's not worry about that now. Let's go to Convingford Train Depot and see if we can get a Cheney Jubilee. We can just about afford it. Let's get some passenger and carriages and mail vans. Oh, excellent. Convingford's built up a little bit, so now we've got mail accepted there as well. Before it was only passengers. They built up enough, so now we can start getting passengers and mail between Convingford and Landfield. So that's very good news. Of course, what we could have done is just built a road and connected to Greens Road and sent buses between here, but I think that trains are just a little bit sharper. It's going to take us a while until we can afford all of the carriages and mail vans we need. Well, we could of course also start off by sending this fellow out with a small little train and tell him to go and pick up a couple more carriages as time goes on. Let's do that. Off you go. And of course the other thing you can do with these trains is rename them, which is something you can do when you're a bit high on time and low on cash. But that's definitely something that we are here. So you see here, this is train 8 and it runs from Convingford to Landfield. So you can call this the Landfield what was this fucking place called? Is there a G in it? Convingford line. There you go. And then we got that. And that makes it a little bit easier to keep track of... Oh, I thought that it would change the name in here. I seem to remember doing that. Maybe there was some special version. Oh, there it does. It says Landfield Convingford line. And you'll see it's moving quite quickly because it only has 2 carriages at the moment. But still, that's a fair amount of cash it's making. And it's going to start increasing our rating for passengers at least, but we need to get that mail van. What we really need is money, and we can't borrow anymore apparently, which sucks. But there you go. Here comes our good truck. Now see how much money we get for these goods. That's a fair amount of cash for that load of goods from Convingford South. Here comes some grain coming in. Oh, let's go to the train depot. It's a little bit... We've just got a little bit of an awkward sitch going on because... I'll tell you in a moment what's happening. It's a little bit fidgety. But every now and then they feel like they need to go to a train depot. And the closest one seems to be on the wrong side of the signals. So they keep going on these circuitous routes. So I'll just make this place a little bit more complicated so that they can go to a depot and then spin around a little bit more easily. Right. I put down maybe one too many depots there. You can never have too many depots. Oh fuck, look how much money we've got all of a sudden. Let's tell the Landfield Convingford line to go back to the train depot, pick up a couple more carriages and maybe a mail van or 2, because you'll see there should be some mail piling up. We've got such poor rating. Here we go. Let's get a passenger van, and then let's get a couple of mail vans, and then send them back out on this route. Excellent. So that's all going jolly well. We have to compete with those fellows. It's a little bit annoying, but they're filling up as well, you see. They have an excellent rating on grain, which is even higher than ours, because they're just filling and filling and filling. But at some point, all of their grain trucks are going to get stuck by our blocker here. Let's call this train here grain blocker. It's a dirty trick, but someone's got to do it. So here we have, what's this factory called? Can we rename factories? No, this is Configured Factory. So this is Fenningbury Farm. So this train has got all the grain. So this is the Fenningbury grain train. And this guy, Fenningbury livestock train. Jolly good. That's the passenger line going, and you see Landfield. They're really building. One of the annoying things about this game is that you need these skyscrapers in order for them to receive goods, but they'll every now and then remodel and upgrade things, and during that time it doesn't count as a skyscraper, so their acceptance of goods sort of flickers on and off the whole time. So if you built in the periphery and relied on one particular skyscraper, if they start remodeling it, it's for a while won't accept goods, which is a bit of an income hit if you're relying on good sales, but we're sort of resilient enough to accept that so far. Look at these guys, got so many buses going between these two cities. Right, let's bring this up. There's Green, he's building a lot around here, and we'll go down to Jamestown and see how things are going down here. So Jamestown is working on some skyscrapers now. That's excellent news, and you'll see that our HQ that we built is starting to look a little bit sharper. We've got a little bit of a fence around it and a slightly larger shack. And our buses, well, they're not great. What can we call this one? We'll call this one the Jamestown number 1. That's the line it's running, and this one's running the same. Because of course when the city gets very big, you can have multiple lines running. Well, that one's already in... Aha, I see. Well, let's call this one the Jamestown number 2 then. Even though they're running the same line. That's all jolly good. Yeah, let's see, our money situation is looking sort of okay. It would be good to get another train up and running. I'm thinking one from here that could do something with all these goods. They're very disappointed in us because they'll be making loads of goods from all this steel that we're making, from the iron that we're shipping. But I don't think we're quite good enough just yet to accept goods. Let's have a look. No, we need another skyscraper, because you see if we use a question mark and click on this, it goes 3/8 of the way to accepting goods. This one 2/8 and that one 2/8, so it's 7/8 of the way to accepting goods. And these little houses, they're not good enough. They only accept passengers and mail, you see. Houses and cottages. So that's the way it is for now. Now here there's another farm which we could use to take goods down to this factory, which would increase its goods production, but it seems a bit premature to do that, seeing as Jamestown's still not accepting goods. Let's bring up the map, shall we? See what's going on. What have they made here? Another passenger route between Genway, just passing by poor old Bronwood and going into Canfingley. Well, let's have a look now for some smart ideas for businesses. Over here, what have we got? Coal, there's a factory, steel mill and iron over here. There's this little route that looks just too good to be true to just ship coal between these two, but you know, why not? Let's try it. You just say, look, here is a place which accepts coal. In fact, they're so close, you could have somewhere which both makes and accepts coal. I'm not going to do that because it feels like it's going to bug out if I do that. But this lorry station accepts coal, and this lorry station makes coal. I wonder if we can just... Let's just put it like this. There we go. And then we'll just make a road like this. And sometimes the road gets full, so you need to give them a little spot behind which they can... Oops. Oh god. I just wanted to make it neat, but now I've just destroyed everything. There we go. Little turn thingies so that they, in case they need to turn around, they don't get stuck going the whole way up there to turn around. And then we'll get some coal trucks. How much they cost? 12,000! I didn't know they were going to be so expensive. Well, off you go to Benburn Mines. And fill up and go to Benburn West. Similarly, this truck, go there, fill up on coal, and go to Benburn West. You get these nice little pop-ups down here saying the citizens are celebrating. Yay, clap! The first lorry arrives at Benburn Mines, and off it goes. Let's see if they drop that off there. There we go, $500 for that little run, that's not too bad. Well, 488. Let's see if this truck gets there. You could probably have a few more trucks doing this run because I'm sure that there's a whole load of coal that's just being waited to be shifted. Yeah, we certainly need more. Well, it's nice to watch this go. Look at them. Little fellows. Alright, that's all jolly good. Done. Done. Meanwhile over here, what other nice little routes can we see? So, yellow needs light blue. This refinery is going to oil. So there's one such run. And another one there. One there. But there. Oil's not a great thing to move really. Sawmill to forest. That's green to orange. There's this one that this fellow built, but otherwise there's not much. And both these yellow refineries, oil refineries, need oil, and the sawmills, they make goods when they're added, so that's good to know. Although it's not really applicable for us at this moment. Then what else are there? There's red and black. That's to take coal to power plants. We've got one such line here. And we've got a line there. There are an awful lot of coal plants in this part of the map, but not many power stations. That one's quite a long way away, so I'm not sure it's worth the trip. You see, you'd have to go all the way like down here. Something to think for the future. And other ones are there. So there's farms to factories. That's pink to the sort of medium blue, or purple, whatever that is. And that's one that we could do here, actually. That would be quite nice. And we could try and compete with this fucker from Landfield. I can't believe the green is competing with us here. How much money do you think our passenger train is making? Let's see. Yeah, a fair amount of cash. 6,000. Not great, but that's a fair amount of cash. Here goes our goods train. How much do you think that one made last year? 23,000. You see, goods are an extremely good thing to move around. That makes a lot of cash. Extra 4.7k. That wasn't very many passengers, but there you go. Let's go down to Jamestown and see if they're any closer to deciding that they want to accept goods. Nope. I wonder if it might be time though to put a station in here, because what you want is a station that's quite central in the town that they can then build around. What you want to avoid is a situation where you've built a station, but the town is the town has grown so much that your station needs to be super peripheral. So I think I'm going to put down a station here. Can I move my HQ? I feel stupid for putting it there now. No way. You can't clear the HQ. Well, that's fucking stuck there. Anywho, let's get this station down here. Now this is going to start pulling away some of the passengers from Jamestown Central for our buses. A new enemy, R. Parker, started Lonningbury Transport near Lonningbury, believe it or not. There's our little station. Ultimately, we're going to want a track that takes goods in from Jamestown Valley up there. So let's start by just building that track so that we're ready, because it looks like Jamestown is growing quite neatly. Here we go. And we can take this track here. That gives me an opportunity to show you a nice little bridge we could make. Just a little one, that's all we need. There we go. And here we can have a little tunnel. Gotta love a nice little tunnel. Fuck, they're so expensive. But it's just nice to make tunnels. Here we go. A little track. A little track. There we go. That track is ready. So Jamestown, what we need you to do is build more what are those things called? What the fuck am I talking about? Build more fucking, you know, those fucking things. Skyscrapers. But then the question is what to do with all these passengers that are piling up here. Ooh, someone's built a fucking airport. Oh, that's this new competitor out in Loddingbury. So yes, you can make planes as well. Not sure how much money that's going to make. Got 30 passengers on board. Shall we see where it goes? To Bronwood Airport, hey? It's coming in for a landing. Ooh, a new factory is being constructed near Fenningbury. You better check that out just now. So as the game goes on, businesses that aren't served by any company might go out of business. Whereas places where you might need another business, we'll see them being built. That made 2.5. It was quite a lot for that little trip. Right. Fenningbury, where is that? Because they said that they're building a new factory out by Fenningbury. Isn't that... Oh, here we are. Oh my lord. They're building a factory next to this factory. Right next to this farm. That would have been good to know before, because we could have been taking our grain and livestock just by truck down there. Nevertheless, let's not worry about that now. Let's go to Jamestown and see if they accept goods yet. No. Oh, that's what we were doing. We were going to see what the fuck we're going to do with the passengers down here. So Jamestown isn't really close to many other places. Chenfingpool is the closest. So how can we... Look how hilly it is here. That's disgusting. We'd have to flatten it here to get a station in. And they're going to be pissed off about the trees that we have to just necessarily knock out to do. But, you know, they'll get over it. We can make trees if they get too grumpy. Somehow trees is what you bribe places with. Here we go. Chenfingpool from Jamestown South. So let's change this track to go into Jamestown South. And this one, let's make a nice little thing like this. I know I'm not playing perfectly, but I want to make the map nice and neat. Let's make a nice little bridge there. Look at that. Oh yes, I should show you, when you build a bridge, there are different kinds you can make, and each of them have an upper limit to speed. And obviously, it seems silly to make a fucking wooden bridge that you have to go super slowly on. Surely no one's that poor. Right, let's bring this down here. And now, you'll see that there's this track here, which we can cross over with a nice little bridge. Let's make a one that they can go fucking fast. I mean, nothing goes that fast yet. I guess we could always change that later if we need to. That's a pretty nice colour. It's quite neat. I want to go to Chenfingpool. So, let's make that bridge over here. And let's make the same design, eh? This sort of grey cantilever steel. That looks very nice. And here comes that track. This is costing us a lot of money, I know. But once we've got this track, we can start sending some passengers between Chenfingpool and... where are we? Jamestown South. Off you go. There we go. And get this nice one going down there. That's nice. That's not going to affect us, is it? No. You see, I just saw at the bottom it said Nendingham coal mine production down, but that's none of our coal mines. But otherwise, that would have been somewhat disastrous. There we go. Let's get a... oh, we can't. Of course we can't afford a fucking train. Can we borrow more money? Every now and then you see the maximum loan size increases. I think every few years or so. So that's what we're waiting for now. What can we do in the meanwhile? Well, we can go and check in on our trains. There's the Fenningbury grain train. It's the grain blocker. What should we call this one? This is the moneymaker. Shall we name this old Betsy DeVos after our intrepid colonel from our XCOM run? There we go. Our steel train. There we go. This is the steel dossier. And what else have we got? We've got our iron hopper. So that's Mr. Iron hopping around. So I'll just call this one the Jamestown Iron Train. Jamestown Iron Run. That's jolly good because that's making us a lot of cash. Look at that. And finally our coal run. This is our first train, so we'll call this one Old Reliable because it hasn't... Oh, just because I was about to say it hasn't broken down since last service, but of course here it is broken down. Well, what are you going to do? Ooh, let's see what are they doing down here. They're getting... See, the AI isn't super intelligent, but it's, you know, quite smart. What they've done is they built a stop here, which is piling it with wood and oil. And they're taking that oil, Jesus, cross-country to Nendingham South. And they're also making a train track here. I wonder what they're doing. Are they going to take... Are they... What are they doing? I think they're also taking oil by train. You can look at him trying to work out how to build. He's trying to match it up. What's he doing? Yeah, you better delete that. Yeah, I got a little bit confused here. Well, I don't know what he's doing. That's not the best way of building that train track. He'll get there in the end. Sorry, I was just sitting there with my mouth open, fascinated by what he was doing. Right, our little corner of the world. I can't believe Green is like trying to fuck with us around here. Let's kill some of his trucks. That's what you can do when you're bored. Grey blocker, come on. Oh fuck, it broke down. I was gonna... Oh, and his truck broke down. Because the thing is that they're meant to stop when there's a train on the track. But if you time it just right, you can get their trucks. Come on, you fucker. Ah, he's too slow. We'll see, we'll get one next time. Wait, it feels like I was meant to be doing something important and I got distracted. Oh yes, passenger train from Jamestown South over to whatever that other fucking place was called. For now, let's just pick up 1, 2, 3 passengers and a couple of mail vans. That's going to go along this long run to Chanfingpool. Oops, didn't mean to pause. There goes the iron run. And are they accepting goods yet? Not yet, but look at them growing here. Up to 506 people living there, that's great. How are our buses actually making any money? No, but these coal trucks, they're making a tidy profit. You know what we'll do? Let's get a couple more of these coal trucks if we can afford them, because they're turning a tidy profit for what they are. Off you go. Jesus, look how much coal there is. We need another fleet of these fuckers. Right, let's fill you up. Go to here. In fact, one cool thing about this game, which is pretty neat compared to other games of this time, is we've got these like what are they called, like videos and videos. And what you can actually do is, well, I'll say, look, go here and load up. And then I can say go to, and I can click on this little box, things inside there. I always thought that was pretty clever the way they did that. Anyway, off that truck goes as well. Now, we haven't seen any jams of trucks yet. But so the bug that happens with trucks is that when there's lots and lots of them trying to get into a place at the same time, they sort of end up piled up on top of each other and none of them can move. Which is not great. But this is all going very well. We just need more trucks because there's a surplus of coal. Let's get more. Come on, let's get some cash so we can buy another truck. There we go. I don't know how many we've got now. 5, I guess. That'll make us a profit. Because we need money to buy a locomotive for that passenger train I just bought over near Jamestown. And they've got... What are they doing? They seem to have 2 separate tracks running. What do you think we should do? Should we go and pick out one of their... Oh! They seem to have given up on the old... Huh. Oh, they've gone on that way instead. Those fools, they think they can outwit us. Fly free! Right, I'm going to show you how to. This is what you do when the AI is being naughty. You wait until they're just about to cross. And then you go. Oh, fuck, I was too fast. Oh, shit. It stopped. Oh, fuck, now they're getting past. It's because it broke down, you see. Got it! Alright. That's a bit cruel. But anyway, now he's blocking there. And I think because they realised that their grain carts weren't getting anywhere because my grain blocker train was trapping them, they gave up this endeavour because it wasn't making them any money. So that's how you starve them out. And we could do that with all these other fuckers as well when they're competing with us. But I don't have the money to buy those little piddly trains to block them at the moment. Jesus, look at this big long bus route. We've only got one bus doing it now. Anyway, what was I doing? Oh yeah, I was going to go and check. Let's see what money we're making. Well, this fellow isn't making much cash anymore. But look at what they're doing in Jamestown. They are building a little bit. We still don't accept goods, but I'm sure at some point we will. There's the coal train coming in. There must be so... You see, we're so poor on goods. When this guy comes in to drop off the steel, he's going to make loads, start making goods, and they'll come up here, but they hardly share any of the goods with us. And then the ones they do share, they disappear real fast, so... It's a shame that Jamestown won't take goods yet, but maybe one of these new things they're building will be a skyscraper. No, just houses. One day, Jamestown will be big enough. Maybe if we get this line running up to Chenfing Pool. For that, we need to buy a train. For that, we need money. For that, we need to extend our loan ceiling, which we can't do at the moment. Well, well, well. That's all going rather well. All of our trains are making a nice little profit. All of our buses and vans are making a decent profit. There hasn't been a pile-up of the vans like you tend to see sometimes with them all bugging out and getting stuck, so that's nice. Oh, he had to turn around on account of there being no one there. And we're starting to work into the surplus. There was 400 tons or so here before, so that's good news. We're getting on top of it with the increased amount of trucks. And what else can we do? We can see which is the biggest town in the world. Well, by the looks of it, it could be Braunwood with 757. 787. Yeah, it looks like Braunwood is the biggest town in the world. Let's go see what that is. Oh, that's where they built the airport. Where's that plane going, eh? Oh shit, it seems to have some sort of a problem. Yeah, it's a bit nasty when these things have reliability issues. Because they can crash, which is not very good for your PR. Let's see how much he gets for that one flight with that plane. So that was just him going to the hangar to repair. And now he's going to run along the airport to drop off those people. 1,400. I don't think that's very good. He's going to Loningbury Airport. Where's that? That's over there. Well, that's another big city. Shall we go and see how things are going on in Jamestown, eh? Oh, come on, really? They still haven't built another skyscraper. I wonder why it is that I think one of these is making a deficit, the other's making a thing. I wonder what we could be clever. Let's tell this fellow to fill up at Jamestown Central. And we'll tell the number 2 bus, the number 1 bus, to fill up in Jamestown. That might increase our rating here because they're few and far between our passengers. This whole place I don't know what to do with. We need to buy. Oh yes, we need to buy this train. We could get one of these, you see, but they only go at 64 kilometers an hour, which is a lot slower than the Cheney, and especially the Ginzu. But the Cheney is what we need. And I should also mention that these obviously aren't the trains we're going to have throughout the rest of the game. As time progresses, we're going to get new models and new technologies to do new stuff. But for the time being, this is what we're stuck with. What could we do in the meanwhile? Well, we could have a look at the newspaper. We could have a look at the company league table. We're a traffic manager and they're just engineers. That's good to know. Look at our profit. Pink's making a tidy profit. It's their airplanes. Our delivered cargo units. See, we're doing pretty high on that. You can look at our performance history. And that's this thing about, you know, here, ratings. What their rating is for us across all our stations. So some of them are very low, like goods from this factory, but we don't have anywhere to take them just yet. Company value. Well, Pink's doing okay. And cargo payment rates. Why? They also change through time. That's all good. I wonder if we can borrow more money yet. Nope, 500k is still the limit. But good news. We can now, I believe, just about afford that new train. There we go. I wonder if it's worth telling them. See, now there's no one waiting in any of these places, so I wonder if it's worth telling him to fill up on either place. But if you tell him to fill up, he's going to be sitting there for ages while all the passengers on this side get pissed off. Well, let's try it. Let's try and tell him to fill up in Chenfing Pool. Because as you see, our rating here is very poor. So of the, I don't know, this many passengers per month, none of them are really going to start appearing. But if he's sitting in the station and like sucking in whatever things pop up, then that rating will increase and it should be a little bit easier to pick things up. And these buses are now doing that, you see. He's just sitting there picking up passengers. He's got a capacity of 31, he's got 17 on board, and every month or so a new person will pop up and then he'll put them in. So I don't know if this is going to increase their performance or not, but I've told them to get full loads before leaving. Jamestown South now accepts goods. That's extremely good. So let's go and see here. What do we got? We need to buy our... Would you like to try this new locomotive? Of years exclusive use. Well, I'd very much like to try it. I think we got that because we're a market leader, but we can't actually afford it unless we can borrow money, which we still can't do, so I don't know why I said yes. Anyhow, we're definitely going to try that. Whether we do it this year when we have the exclusive or next year, it's a bit of a shame we can't quite afford it, because that would be great to do. Maybe it's a little bit overkill to have such a new powerful train just doing this little run into Jamestown with our goods. You know, maybe this chain in Jubilee is enough. Meanwhile over here, this fellow, it's going to take him a while to fill up. But this should go faster and faster the more our rating goes up here. And the rating will go up as long as there's a train sitting on the station. That's one of the reasons it's sometimes a good idea to have more than one spot, or more than one track, because you can have a guy sitting filling. That's why I made two here as well, because if this production were to ever increase, you can have two trains running, filling up and then going. And sometimes it might need to be filling up at the same time. It's always good to have more tracks than you actually need. This is all jolly good. Look at that fellow going. Actually, this place accepts goods now, and I think it's because they've got... Oh yes, they've got shops and offices, there's a cinema, another cinema, and flats. And all of these add towards them accepting goods. So Jamestown is growing quite nicely. We just need to get this here, because there must have been so many goods they've been making here, and none of them have been transported. And then... a next track, we've got more cash. might be to take grain and livestock from this farm down here to further boost good production. Here comes our steel. What do I call this one? The steel dust, yeah. There you go, dropping off. That's some nice cash right there. Are these making any cash? Not much. Coal mine substance near Lonningbury. Oh, look at that. That's destroyed stuff around the mine. Huh. Well, good thing we don't live there. Shall we see what our competitors are up to? Here's a map where you can see all the vehicles going around. Yellow is road vehicles, red are trains, and then white are aircraft. But I wonder if we can... Oh, here's one flapping around. Oh yeah, now we can see what they were doing down here, these maniacs. So they have both. So the thing is, if you look at these two places here... Oh, not up there, sorry, on the other end. This is where they're dropping off the oil. Up on this side, they've got a little bit, it's a bit messy. Jesus. This place is full of coal. And potentially, oh, you see, look here. They built all of these things near the oil and wood. So they're all, in a way, competing with each other. Both of these are pretty bad with wood because no one's collecting them. But they're both collecting oil. And depending on their relative distribution, you'll see that this place will get more oil because their local rating is higher than there. I guess because the train spends more of its time in the station just filling up with oil as soon as it's done than the trucks spend over there. We still can't borrow more money. So yeah, the trucks will, sit here for a while and fill up, but after a while it's just going to be empty because the trucks have to spend this whole long drive. Meanwhile, the train just fills up, and as soon as it's full, it zips off again. So that's why trains on these long distance runs are a bit better, because they spend more of their time on their station just filling up. You see that oil popped up and then went straight into the train, and that boosts the rating of the transport service. Anyhow, all that means is that there'll be more oil here compared to there. It is odd they decided to go for both trucks and a train for that line. Well, meanwhile over here, our rating has gone up a lot, but it seems to be the case that it takes quite a long time to fill up our mail bags. So let's tell this fellow to skip the step of loading fully in Enchanting Pool and go to Jamestown South. And then I might tell him on his way out to swap one of those mail vans for another passenger carriage. Oh, look at both of those trains breaking down. That's pretty bad. Let's see, let's get a new train down here for our upcoming goods train. He's only got one at the moment. We know what his orders are going to be. Go to Jamestown Valley, fill up with goods, and then drop them off in Jamestown South. So he did go into that depot, and he did that automatically for his sort of bi-weekly check or whatever he has. But now I'm telling him specifically to go into the depot by clicking there. He's going to go in there. I get a little ticker saying that train number 9 is waiting in the depot, and I can click either there or this little window, which is pretty cool. I'm going to say sell one of those mail vans, for heaven's sake. You need more passengers, because the passengers were filling up more quickly than the mail was. And then we'll send him on his way again, off down to Chetting Pool. Well, Jamestown Valley, let's get you some more goods vans, hey? How many have we got? We've got just the 2. Oh, just the 1. Now we've got 3. Gosh, it's expensive. There goes that guy. So when he makes it with his ore all the way up to Jamestown Woods, and then we'll be ready. I'm not sure what this bus is up to. What on earth was it going up there for? That's extremely confused. Jamestown, look at that population, 673. We're really making the city grow. It's nice because that's where our HQ is, and apparently we can't delete the HQ and move it if it does get in the way. So let's hope the city grows around it. There we go, and now this train can go on its merry way. And it might take a while now to fill it with goods, because even if they do make goods, they're going to be not very inclined to drop them all off at Jamestown Valley because we've got such a poor rating. But the rating goes up the longer he spends on the tracks picking things up. Look at that load. You see, Cheffing Pool, on account of us having a relatively decent rating now, because we spent such a long time there just sitting up, picking up things at the station, is now actually filling up with passengers and mails. That's excellent. So let's see what we should call this train. It goes from Jamestown to Cheffing Pool. So this is the Jamestown Cheffing Pool. Is that what it's called? God, the names in this. There we go. Off it goes over our little bridge we made. And this game is quite pretty looking. See, it slows down over that hill, so you really want to avoid hills. Into Cheffing Pool. One day this place will accept goods as well. It's not as much of a priority for us. That's a fair amount. I guess our rating is only slowly going up here because we didn't spend very long on the tracks like we did in the other places building. But look at these skyscrapers going up. Now we can reliably shift goods to Jamestown South. And this thing has only got 22 goods. So what we should start thinking about now actually is getting the farm produce from here. Can we make a track? You see, we can make a little station here. And then, oops, we'll bring those down to here. So let's start work on that track. Let's see now. We're going to go from here to the station will be. I guess we'll go down here, over here, cross here with a bridge, cross there with a bridge, or cross there with a bridge maybe. Yes. Yes. So we're going to have to share, unless we build another track here. No, we're only going to be dropping off grain and livestock, so we could probably share the same track and have a set of two different entries for it. But how can we make that neatly? We want to have some sort of nice system with signals, because it might be the case that both trains come at once, in which case they'll need to be able to see whether or not there's a fucking train ahead of them. So we say, look, here there's a signal check to see if it's busy ahead, and then they'll see if it's free to come in here and drop shit off, and then we'll get a train depot there. Oh, I just realised this, you can't build a bridge there, and building a bridge, terraforming where there's water is absurdly expensive. I wonder if I can do shift and click just to see. You see, just to raise that tile will cost 94,000. So you can't really build in the sea. That's not really, I guess the game doesn't really want to encourage you to just think that you can just build some sort of a water world if you're struggling. Alright, there we go. Let's get these little bridges up here. There we go. That's just as good. That's just as good to just have the bridges down there. And then they'll come along here. You can't, you could just cross them instead of having a bridge. Should we try that? You know, I haven't really played around with that. I just fear it, because if they happen to whack into the old train, then it's pretty bad. But what we can do is set some signals around like that, and they should be able to see whether there's something there or not. Now, let's see. Because what you don't want to happen is that there's a train coming along here and a train coming along there, and they sort of whack into each other. That would be disastrous. Alright, let's bring this fucker down here. I will say that this game is an awful lot more relaxing and meditative. That's the word I'm looking for. It's a lot more meditative to play than fucking XCOM. It's giving me heart palpitations towards the end. I'm glad I'm taking a little break from this. Jesus Christ, that game was stressful. Not enough money, hey? Well, we'll soon have more cash. Can we not borrow more money? Yeesh, if we could just borrow 100 grand, we could get this up and running, and that would increase our income. Ooh. Now that's available. Ooh, indeed. Supply problems caused this steel mill to close near Chendingston. Well, there's no one out here doing anything. Where's this on the map? It's a little bit sad when things close because you think you might have got to it if you had more money, but on the other hand, it's so far away. There's no iron ore mine near it, which is what a steel mill needs. So it's just as well as it closes because it means that somewhere else a new industry can open. Let's just try and make sure we get this line set up before it closes. The issue is that what's costing money is building through this chap's field. We could build it all the way down here because it's still in the catchment area. And I'm building 2 tracks, and I could of course have built just 1 track and then... Where did I do that? You know, use signals to have these little passing places. But I think that this train's going to be running the whole time, is my thinking. So it seems sensible just to make it like this anyway. Here we go. Where's this one going to sit? Somewhere like that. Right. Right. There we go. And now we're going to be able to plonk that down there. But let's just wait, because if we do it now, we're going to start off with such a shit rating. Because we can't afford any fucking trains to do that run. So let's wait until we can afford the train, at least 1 train, to fill with either grain or livestock and get that line running. Because that's going to boost the production of goods, which means that this train's going to be running more often, which means it's going to be making us more cash, and it's already making us... Oh, not much money. Well, it'll increase the money that that train's making us. Has it stopped accepting goods? No. How come that's not making us any money? Gee whiz. What about our passenger train here? That's making a fair amount of cash this year. Yeah, we're making some decent money. See, this goods train is making a fat load of cash. I guess because it's not just us who are supplying the factory, we've also got these green guys coming from Landfield Valley to drop them off. And how are our coal trucks doing? Pretty nice, they're making a couple thousand each year. And Benburn Mines, well, this is a nice little organisation going on, look at that. And they're queuing up neatly, there doesn't seem to be any bugs with them getting stuck going in and out of the truck stops. I think building these little loops helps them realise that if there is a queue, they can just go back there and do a few laps. Oh dear me, the breakdowns the whole time. Can we borrow more money yet? Oh, for heaven's sake. Maybe in 1956, which is soon going to happen because you see at the bottom left of the screen we're in December 1955. Maybe next year we can up our loan ceiling. Chenfing Pool, how do they feel about us? We're doing mediocre. Look at all these nice little train tracks we've got going on. Jamestown, new beauty, look at it growing. We've been nursing this city. And you see, so these have got pretty good ratings because these buses have been told to I'm just wondering where the other fucking bus has gone. We can't borrow more money. The buses have been told to sit and wait and load. Ah, there he is. He's loading. He's got 23 passengers. He's waiting until he's got 31. This place, I guess he doesn't have to wait as long because there seems to be a large amount of passengers piling up. So, what were we going to do? Yes. It's so nice when you have these little trains going together. New. Well, it would be good to have this train. Look how fast it is and how much horsepower it has. It's just a little bit too expensive for our setup at the moment. Oops, I didn't mean to click that. Another... Look at this pink guy, he's got a whole load of airplanes. You can see what we've been setting up. That's us there, you see? Jackson, that's me. 10 trains, 7 road vehicles, and these guys have got 3 aircraft. This guy's got 19 road vehicles. Huh. A new forest is being planted. It's always good to see where they are, because if you're fast, you might be able to get a good route. And you see this forest here is being built not too far from this sawmill. So potentially, if you had lots of time, you could set that route up. But to be honest, that's not really our neck of the woods. We've got this little adventure going on all the way down there. But otherwise, we're Jamestown people. Or the Fenningbury, Coningford Landfield people. Not so much Fenningbury, other than their farm. And you see, we're out competing them here because we've just... I feel bad about this. It's a bit of an exploit, I guess. But it's, you know, we need to make cash now that we've invested in this whole setup. What can you do? What can you do? Oh, that was an expired subsidy. Or as if we could afford to build everything anyway. Here comes some goods. How many goods are there? Come on, fill that up. And oil production down somewhere. That's not so good. Wow, this guy's building so many new airports. He seems to be doing well for himself. Honestly though, I think trains are the way. Nothing like a nice train track, nice bridge, nice tunnel, eh? A new company, Plenningly Transport. I thought we had one of those already. No, we had Little Printingville. So I, Thompson, what are you doing? You're over here. This is your HQ. And they're red. So Plenningly is here. Well, Pink just built an airport in Plenningly. Although look, someone is doing some terraforming around Plenningly. I think they're looking to put down their own airport. You see the AI is sculpting the ground around here. Huh. Who knows what the AI is up to. This, by the way, otherwise, in Sin Town, that's pretty cool. Could have a cool little bus route up to Plenningly. But anyway, it's not our neck of the woods, as I was saying. That's not where we belong. This is such a messy thing he's made down there. Let's go back up. Oh my god. Oh, what? What? Oh, look. Green is trying to muscle in on our territory again. And they've made... Wait, is this old? That's old. This is that fucking bus route. That's an old fucking... But this is new fucking shit over here. Look what the... Oh, this guy is building the same fucking route. At airport there. I wonder where's other airport's going. But look what Green's up to. Now... Even though he's realised the error in his ways, because he doesn't seem to be able to connect the ore mine with his intended target, which I guess was this steel mill, he's realised, shit, I can't get there because it's like all knotted up inside our network of stuff. The downside is that Jamestown Transfer is currently piling up with 66 tons of ore, which is taking away the ore from Jamestown Mines, which is where we want it. So for a time, it's going to make our iron ore train fill up a bit more slowly. But look at our money situation. That is good news. So let's get a track up here. Jolly good. And let's compare in the cargo payment rate whether it makes more sense to begin with grain or livestock. And it's grain. So let's get a cheap old... Can we afford that one? Let's get a cheap old train. Let's get a bunch of grain hoppers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can't afford the last one. There we go. And take that to... Where are we going? Jamestown Valley. Off you go. A new coal seam has been found at Lardingham coal mine. It's a long way away. And it's not near any red, which is power plants. So that kind of sucks, but there you have it. Let's see now, what's Red doing? Red's flying from Kenfingley to Plenningly, so it looks like they're both competing, Plenningly, for the passengers from this one city. It doesn't look great for either of them, really, does it? I just can't believe Green just tried to fucking muscle their way into our iron mine business going on here. Well, they haven't slowed down the iron train too much. So that guy's just leaving. It's not full of steel yet, but he's just leaving to nip into this train depot. It's why it's a good idea to build the train depot on the end of the line where they're spending a lot of their time loading. Ooh, Pentworth factory is going to imminently close. Not too bad, because it doesn't look like we could have done anything there. If we had infinite money, we could start filling this power plant up with coal from all around these different coal mines, but can't quite afford that at the moment. What we really need is a livestock train running from Plentwood West, because we've got grain filling up, no worries. This is the Jamestown grain run. But of course, we don't have any livestock because we haven't built a livestock train yet. We'll get the cash for that sooner or later. We can borrow more money. Okay, another 100k. Oops. I got so excited I accidentally paused. Fuck, yes, just spend that immediately. There's no point having a potential for loaning and not loaning because, you know, you need to speculate to accumulate. Off you go down here. Fucking excellent. Fill up on your livestock. There we go. Off you pop. We've actually got a little bit of cash spare, so then the question is, where would we like to make our next thing? Well, look at this. Oh, that's gorgeous. These lights flashing on and off. What a pretty game this is. So now he should see that there's a train ahead, so he should stop there. And he goes there. Now the next issue, of course, is that you know what we're going to do? We're just going to tell this train to stop for a second. We're going to detonate Jamestown Valley, and we're going to make a few more tracks, I think. Now you'll see it didn't disappear, the station or its contents, and the reason it didn't is because the label stayed a few moments after we demolished it. So the reason I'm doing this is because I think we might need 2 trains running goods. Because now we're getting steel and livestock and grain, and this place is just filling up with goods. So I reckon 2 trains running that route is not going to go amiss. The only bollocks. The only question is how to get trains out of this. She's tight like a tiger in there. Maybe I screwed up. That was completely unnecessary. I would like to raise here, you see, so I could sneak a train out that way. That would cost 25,000 just for that small boon. We're going to have to do something real clever. Maybe we don't need 2 trains. Maybe 1 train is enough. It just feels like we might potentially need it soon, so I'm going to try and do something clever here, which is to put that down like that. There you go. You see, now look at this. Now we can get that guy out as well. Of course, the next issue is that those motherfucking green fuckers have blocked this fucking place. Not that we could do loads, but we could, of course, think of something clever. I think what we might have to do is make this route like this, you see. And then that can go like that. We'll see what we do. Or maybe combine that line there. Let's do that actually. You see, what you could do is just have these 2 share this one stretch of track and then split into 2 tracks and then join up again here for entering into Jamestown South. But maybe it's gonna manage to shift all those goods on its own. You see, as soon as they drop the oil, what's it doing? Let's go to that train depot. Doesn't it have a depot on its own side? Oh, that's going to block this. But as soon as it drops that off, it's going to make a bunch of... Oh, look, they finally cleared there. That's good news. I see. I'm wondering how I can get another train out, because you see, that's made so many goods. Now he's running, but these goods sort of decay if there's no one there to pick them up. Oh my lord, these fucking trains. Look at them breaking down the whole fucking time. Who designs these trains? So we want to maybe have another train that shares its track. Or shares its entrance over here. And then how would that go? Well, that would have to go like this. Like that. I don't know if this makes sense. Look at this. It looks pretty neat. It's probably not the most optimal way of doing this, but it's just nice to make little tunnels and little bridges. It's very Bob Ross, this game, isn't it? I mean, in some ways. Oops, you can't do that. Oh well. Let's lower it over there. And there. And then you go down there. Ooh, a new aircraft is available. Well, that's not really our bag, but there you go. And then we'll just connect it like this. We can't build there. Okay. We can remove that track, and then we can put some of those down because they have to share this little place because it's so, what's the word? It's tight like a tiger there is what I'm trying to say. Let's get some tracks there, some signals. So now both of those things, they share this one little piece of the track and then they split apart and then they go there. So we can have two trains running most of that way on their own. So let's get another train depot. And let's get another goods train because I think that's going to make us some cash. They can just stop fucking breaking down for like 5 seconds. Jesus. Go there, fill up, and then go up here. Off you go. So now this should be a good example of the fact that he's going to go onto this route. He has to stop because it's a red light. He picks one of those two sides. It doesn't really matter which one. Comes in here. He's going to pick up these goods. He gets most of them, but there are some left. And usually these would decay. But on account of us having our second train here, he can start filling up on goods. While he goes off for the next one. That's excellent. And this train is ready to receive the goods that are created when this guy comes and drops it off. And then when that guy comes and drops all of his grain. Or when the steel train arrives, but he just dropped off some. But that's all jolly good. And Jamestown, look at this. A veritable high-rise. We're growing fast. That's a sweet load of cash we're getting. Cool. Right, let's see what everyone else is doing. Red have, wow, gone bananas here. They're making a passenger train. Or two, which are running between Planningley and Lunford. And down here is this monstrosity of the oil run. So where might we run now? This whole setup is running pretty well. We could try and take over this grain and livestock business from Green, but to be honest, they're still feeding our... Each time they come here and drop off stuff, I think they should make some goods for Coningford South. There you go, see? And they're immediately picked up by our train sitting waiting. Old Betsy DeVos. So then she'll head up. So that's all jolly good. So then the question is now, where would we go next to make a little summer summon? Well, what other things have we got we could do? These are two factories. We could take grain to this factory, and then that factory could go into landfill to drop them off. Bit of a drive. How is our passenger train? Are these things even making money, our passenger trains? Yeah, they're doing okay. Making 12k last year, 4k this year. Here's this. Oh, look at that. We could take ore from here to the steel mill, and then the steel we could take to drop off over in Jamestown Valley. Gosh, what a busy train stop this thing is becoming, hey? It's a very busy stop. So let's begin by anticipating even more business here. by saying that these 3 lines will need to share. And this is going to go to which steel mine? Where was that? There's that steel, and that steel needs to be connected to the ore, which I saw somewhere. There's the ore. It's a bit of a drive, but might be worth it. Let's get 2 tracks, 3 length. Let's pop that there. And then here we'll need to have... Let's make a big old station. That'll be nice. Let's clear a nice space. We'll make a big old station with fucking 4 tracks, 3 long. Whack it in there. Very nice. There we go. We might not use all those tracks, but we might as well build that for now. Here comes this track. Coming along here. Can't build there. I'm going to hold down here. Oops, not that one. Someone here you can choose to make transparent buildings, but in the absence of transparent buildings, we're going to detonate here to see what's going on with the ground. Oh, I see. We just needed to flatten that part. Little tunnel. I am partial to a little tunnel. There we go. And let's get a thing. How to set up this side? I reckon a 2-tracker. Somewhere like that. That should work just about fine. This is going to be excellent. Look at this little iron ore run. Gosh, it costs a lot of money to build through someone's farmland. But it hopefully will be worth it. There we go. What do we need? Well, we need a Cheney Jubilee, and then we're going to need 5 iron hoppers. But unfortunately, for the time being, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, we can't afford the... Well, we can't borrow any more money either. We can't afford the actual... We can't afford the locomotive for that route. But the speed with which we're making money, we should be able to soon. Now look at this. This is a new railway locomotive, which has got all of these stats, but it also itself can hold some passengers. So you could make these neat little run-around trains. I wonder if I can show that off somewhere. They're just, 1 unit long. Oop, oil wells closing. There you go. Oh. 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 Well, that is not great. You see, this is precisely the sort of thing we wanted to avoid. Aha. Let's do something clever. So what happened was that he was choosing to go on this line because it looked green, but then he got as far as that line, but then realized that it wasn't as green as he thought it was because that guy was there. So we might just need to make this a little bit less exciting than we had anticipated by just making a little bridge like this. There we go. Now we won't have that problem anymore. Yes, so that is the iron, and then from here we need to take steel later up to this factory, and that should connect there. So I wonder, you see, tunnels are very expensive. I do like a nice tunnel. If we put one there, shift click, 74,000 for that tunnel. I mean, I like a tunnel as much as the next man, but we can't have a tunnel that costs that much, can we? Maybe we can. Let's get a train out. Come on now. Come on now, let's get a train out. Chenfing hey? Here comes its passenger train. Chugging up the hill. Look at this, that's a steady earner, 23,000. Maybe we should make more passenger trains. Insect infestation. Oh my lord, is it our farm? No, thank the good lord. Now we've got a fuckload of money. Let's go down to wherever the fuck we were. Here. Let's get that fucking thing. The Cheney. One day we'll be able to afford faster locomotives. Then you'll see. Off you go now. And now we can start thinking about how on earth we're going to connect that track with this thing. Huh. It ain't easy. It's just so high. If you can, I wonder if we go around this way, up here, over there. Let's start from this side, eh? Well, fortunately, I think that this episode is going to have to come to an end sooner or later, as much fun as it is to build these little tracks. Come on now. Look how, this is excellent. Oh, and a little tunnel. There you go, look at that. Oh, that's very beautiful. So this guy is going to come down here, and then we just want to tie it up with this one. You see, I'd like to make a tunnel through here, but I think that would be a little bit too expensive. Unfortunately, we can't build a bridge here because this city's built this shit wooden bridge there. Those fuckers. And we can't destroy this because this was built by our opponent. Even though they don't have a thing there anymore because they gave up on that plan, it means we can't destroy it. We can't really do too much terraforming around here because we don't want to destroy Chenfing pool. Let's just see if it is possible to maybe just whack. See, a tunnel there might work. Yeah, let's go under. Oh, why can't we do that? What happens if we were to raise that side? Oh, we can't because we have to. Oh my lord! You see what those fuckers have done. What if we? It's not going to work, is it? No. Because we'd have to flatten the ground, but that would involve moving shit around their fucking road there. So I guess we'll have to make our own bridge across this water. Seems like an awfully long way around of doing it, but it does look like that's because of that thing there. It does seem like that's the only way we're going to actually be able to get through this town. Nevertheless, we can't be disheartened. We can make one of those nice cantilever steel bridges. Here comes the track out of the town. Here comes a track that away. Let's delete it. Let's set it up like this. There we go. Jolly good. Because there's a whole load of steel here, it's just not being shifted. But that is excellent because now that track will just take the train all the way up to drop it off over at Jamestown Valley. And you can see now we've got 2 good trains running and they're just fucking filling up with goods the whole time. This one just went off and dropped its load. By the time it gets back, I wonder if they will have filled up again. Let's see if they can beat them to it. Can I borrow more money? No. Desperate. So that's going to load up all its grain, which is going to instantly turn into goods, which is enough to fill up that train. So now he's leaving while this one comes in to fill up. That train's going to pick up the goods that are there, but then the steel train's going to come in and make even more goods. And that filled up that train. So now he can go, and there's a little surplus left. Look how excellent, this is excellent. Jamestown's doing a really good job. And you see here they've removed some of those skyscrapers, which means you're at risk of losing their goods acceptance, which is catastrophic, but it doesn't seem to be happening now. Right, buses make lots of money, our coal trucks are making lots of money. Train wise, I'm looking at the right hand side this year because this is this year, all minus because we're still in January and some people haven't dropped off their cargoes yet, but last year everything made some good dosh actually, especially these goods trains are the fucking shit. Alright, I was going to make a train that's going to do steel, so for steel I'm going to need steel trucks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I need to pick up a chain of Jubilee, and for that we're going to need some cash, which we don't have just yet. But if we just watch these goods trains, now you'll see what's going to happen. This guy's coming in. Well, I was going to show you when there were 2 trains in there at once, both collecting goods. But they just split them between them. Shall we see what our competitors are up to? Is that new? No, that's that run. That's the same. What's this red? Oh, that's their city train track, their passenger trains. Wonder how much they're making on this. Not too much. Well, that airplane doesn't look like it's doing too well. Making a lot of cash though. Oh, there's that oil monstrosity. This whole side of the map, no one's built on yet. So we can look at stuff like the operating profit. We're doing pretty well. We can look at our company value. We're doing well. Performance. There you go. We're crushing it. So let's go back over to, where were we? Here, because we want to get a Cheney Jubilee steam train. But there's still not quite enough money in the kitty for that. Oh, now there are this. Oh, not enough. We need another 600. And the reason this money goes down the whole time is because we're paying continuing maintenance on all of our existing fleet of trains and buses. Ooh, we can make helicopters now. Look at that. Pretty expensive, but they go pretty fucking fast. I'm sure that there's some train that's going to make us enough money to just tip us over. There we go. Something made us some money. So now this guy can go there. Again, it's pretty neat to not have to be able to scroll all the way over there. You can just click in this little mini thing and then go there to drop off your goods. So off you go. Let's see if there's any steel here for you to pick up. This is perfect timing because he's going to start filling up with a little bit of steel, realize he needs more steel, but then this ore train is going to drop it off. It's going to bump up the steel production, which will fill up this guy. There we go. Look at that. We've got such a nice production chain going. Jamestown is the metropolis. It's the jewel of the West. There we go. And this good old coal truck's been making us a lot of cash. Old Reliable, that's its name. Where's I want to go look at Betsy DeVos before I call this a night. The steel dossier. Here's Betsy, there you go. Landfield, is that a bigger... See, that's 1,000 people living there. Oh, I wonder if I can do something clever. Do like a little... Just do a little like tram line that runs around. Road vehicle destroyed in a UFO. What? Well, that's annoying. Well, we'll have to make a new bus. And that was the guy who's loading in Jamestown Central. So this guy can load in Jamestown. What kind of a fucking UFO destroys a bus, huh? I thought we'd escaped that from XCOM. It followed us into this game. Fuckers. Alright, listen, with that, I think we might have to call it a night. But let's pick up again in a while. This was quite fun, so I think I'll play at least another episode of this game. And yeah, it's a very clearly a different beast than the other strategy games we've been playing so far. Colonization and XCOM UFO Enemy Unknown. It's very it's much more meditative, eh? It's like the Bob Ross of video games. This game, I think, is my happy place. It's just quite nice to watch all these little things drive around. Like, if you just find a nice little view, like here, where there's so many train tracks, you just watch everything go. This like nice, neatly oiled system. Anyway, that's going to be it for me tonight. Hope you had fun, and I'll see you next episode, hopefully. Good night.